Drive ignition.
This is Actar's Reviews, from anime to figures and beyond. Welcome to another episode of Actar's Figure Reviews. Now, if you know me, I'm all about the definitive versions of a figure, meaning to say a figure that is high quality and replicates the show counterpart as closely as possible. Aside from anime, I do have a passing interest in Kamen Rider, and my personal favorite Kamen Rider is Kamen Rider Faiz. Now, one of the unique things about Kamen Rider 555 is that the signature bike of the main hero is unlike any other rider bike. It has the ability to transform into a battle-ready humanoid robot. As a fan of Kamen Rider 555, I really wanted to get a figure that replicated Auto Vajin's transformation, but there weren't that many transforming Auto Vajin figures. You'd think that it would make such a wonderful concept for a toy, but then I stumbled upon the S-RHF Faiz figure, which is this box over here. Admittedly, the Super RHF, more recently the FFR, WFC figures aren't that great figures. I mean, they aren't highly accurate, they have proportions that are somewhat off, they have limited articulation, so on and so forth. But, surprisingly enough, the Auto Vajin figure that was bundled together with it is simply phenomenal, and perhaps that's why this figure is so overlooked, because it's packaged together with a figure that doesn't really have that great of a reputation. Won't go into too much detail about Faiz himself. It's a regular figure, okay articulation, blah blah blah. Accessories are of course the Faiz Edge, the Faiz phone in gun mode, Faiz shot, Faiz pointer, and a holder for the Faiz shot. Now moving on to the main event, here is Auto Vajin in vehicle mode. Right off the bat, amazing details with the identification number, the Smart Brain Motors logo, and the sparkly silver paint with red highlights. All the details are really sharp, and of course the bike rolls pretty well, and extremely well I should say. Of course there is a kickstand so that you could display the bike on your shelf in vehicle mode. Another thing that surprised me was the size of the bike. From the picture, the figure looked pretty minuscule, and boy did the pictures not do it any justice. Comparing it to a Figma figure, you can just see how big it is. Not to mention, Figmas aren't big enough to fully ride the bike. But of course the Faiz figure that's included is perfectly scaled to ride the bike. And lastly, you can't really tell from where you are, but the figure really has some weight to it. And that's because of the die cast. Yes, there are die cast metal parts in the figure that I'll go into more detail later on. The only thing that I've noticed that is missing in terms of paint applications is the red highlights on the Faiz symbol on the top. A couple more detriments to the bike is that there is a noticeable gap in the bike and the front wheel doesn't turn. Of course, it is to facilitate the transformation. And getting to that, the brilliant thing about the figure is that it features perfect transformation. As far as I could tell from watching the show, the figure replicates the transformation very accurately. No more crappy part swapping, part shifting, flimsy SIC version. No, this is the real deal. So just like in the series, we start off by popping off the back wheel, splitting the back of the motorcycle that will become the feet and legs later on. Flip the 2 feet up, pull down the legs and straighten them out. Unpack the front wheel from the 2 hands. Take the arm and swing it off to the side. Do the same for the other side. Take the head and extend it up. Then after that we can actually swing the 2 legs down. Take this part and swing it down. Lock it into place. Push the head back down. Swing the front of the bike and fold it down to the side so that it can become a shoulder armor. Rotate the arms into position. Take the rear wheel and turn it and clip it onto the back. And we take back the front wheel and plug it back into his hands. last but not least, all we have to do is to flip down the visor just like in the show. And here we have Auto Vajin in battle mode, and it looks spectacular. The only part that needs to be removed and reattached is the Buster wheel handgun, but to be fair, this was also a fault of the show, as the front wheels seem to disappear into subspace and reappear whenever necessary. Details and accuracy are marvelous, and just to point out the die-cast parts, the upper leg, the swing bar, and the hinge of the front of the bike is made of solid metal. In terms of articulation, it's pretty impressive for a toy made in 2003. The head can move left and right, the arms are on ratchet joints and can move forwards and backwards. I suppose you could say that the arms can move in and out, though that doesn't really look right. Its legs are the most articulated out of the entire figure. The legs can move forwards and backwards to such a great degree. It does have a knee joint, and its feet can move forwards and backwards as well. Handling the figure, everything feels very sturdy, everything feels very well built. Somewhat of a feature is that Auto Vajin can replicate its flight mode using the scramble rotor located on the back, like so. Yeah, it really doesn't seem like much, but well, at least it's show accurate. Now, as great as this figure is, things that I would have liked to have seen aside from more articulation would be a detachable handlebar for when Faiz is using his Faiz Edge. And finally, just for size comparison, here is the RHF Faiz figure, Figma Yuki, and the DX Faiz Fold. In conclusion, if you're a fan of Kamen Rider Faiz, do yourself the service and track this underrated figure down. Being made in 2003, it's relatively hard to come by, and from what I understand, has been bootlegged. But honestly, this is the best Auto Vajin figure that you can get. If you're looking for a transforming Auto Vajin figure, you cannot go wrong with this one, and I wouldn't recommend the SIC version, as that one's really floppy, doesn't feature perfect transformation, and isn't show accurate. So, this is Zactar saying, see you guys in the next episode.